Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bowling. I want to get right down to the news at hand. I wanted to play a clip, audio clip of reporter Joy Reid's response or comment on the missing woman, Gabby. I believe her name is Gabby Petito, I believe. And I wanted to play an audio clip of Joy Reid's comments on this woman, and it's really divisive terms she used. It's just really disgusting. And I want to give as far as I'm concerned, I want to give my opinion on this. But let me let you guys listen to this real quick. Here she goes.
Saying that no family should ever have to endure that kind of pain, and the Petito family certainly deserves answers and justice. But the way this story has captivated the nation has many wondering, why not the same media attention when people of color go missing? Well, the answer actually has a name: missing white woman syndrome, the term coined by the late and great Gwen Ifill to describe the media and public fascination with missing white women like Lacey Peterson or Natalie Holloway, while ignoring cases involving missing people of color.
Well, you heard that. You heard her words on that. Now let me give you my opinion on this. Now, I in the past, before I really started getting involved in any kind of politics many years ago, I used to always think the same thing too. I had the same mindset a lot of black people have today. Most of them are, a vast majority of them are liberal leaning. And I had the same attitude. My attitude was, are they only paying attention to people that are white, that are disappearing and so forth? You know, there was a incident happened in the 80s of, what was her name? The little girl, Ramsey, I believe. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know. But she ended up being murdered, or she disappeared, or she was murdered. And that was all over the news. And then you have the little 6-year-old boy, I believe, Adam. They actually made a movie out of his death. It spawned the America's Most Wanted TV series, real life TV series. So on that sense, I kind of can get what the fascination people, man, you know, how come African Americans or blacks are not getting the same kind of exposure when they disappear? I get that part. But my problem with Joy Reid's mouth and her comments, I mean, I really had a hard time listening to that woman. I mean, I had to listen to it, you know, in order to get my spin on it. But it's hard to listen to anything that these mainstream media leftist goons have to say. But what she, as well as a lot of these liberal news sites are doing, is they're keeping the racial rhetoric going. They're keeping the division going. See, when she used the term white syndrome, what, white women syndrome or white person syndrome, what do you mean syndrome? What is it? It's a fascination? It's not a fascination. It's not a syndrome. No one really knows why it's like that, but it's not a. They're keeping the division up. That's the problem. That's what I have. That's my beef with what she said. She's keeping the racial tension in the air. Things would be a whole lot better if we try to reconcile our differences and try to fix these racial tensions versus stirring them up, versus keeping them going. I'm wondering how much money she's getting paid to say the stuff that she says. And I can't help but wonder whether or not they believe, a lot of these race baiters and race hustlers believe that what they say. I'm wondering, do they really believe what they say? But it's really disgusting to me what she said. And she tends to have a bad habit of saying some horrible things that keep a lot of racial tension going up. I mean, she gave a rant. I forget who it was about several weeks ago. She had a rant, gave a rant over. It was just terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. It was so bad. And I tried my best to listen to what she had to say, but it was like, oh my goodness. There was no factual data to what she said. It was just based on emotion. And I believe that a lot of these mainstream media, leftist mainstream media reporters and journalists are paid to keep tension, racial tension among the people. They're paid to keep us stirred up. They're paid to keep blacks mad and whites feeling guilty. Now you got all these white people walking around feeling guilty. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's really aggravating me personally, because when I'm on my job, as I said before, I do security at Tower City in Cleveland downtown. And I can't count how many times I'm on my bike and I'll go out and a white person or a white couple will be going across my path, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm saying, you don't have anything to apologize for. I always sense that the reason why they're overly apologetic is because they feel some sense of white guilt, or they feel like I got a chip on my shoulder against them. I don't have a chip on my shoulder against any person, any group, or any person. And if I did, I'm certainly not going to tell you on YouTube or any of these social media outlets. You're not going to know about that. But I believe that it's coming from these mainstream media, or at least one of the sources that is coming from these mainstream media reporters and journalists, excuse me, who are keeping all this tension, this racial tension stirred up in people. You got white people feeling guilty. You got black people walking around with a chip on their shoulder. Just yesterday, right? Let me share this story. And this is crazy. Yesterday, it's like, I think it was like sometime in the afternoon, like about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we got word that a man inside Tower City had jumped over the banister and landed into the RTA rotunda, because the RTA is at the bottom of the bottom half of the mall where you can catch the RTA Rapid. He jumped over the banisters and killed himself. Bashed his skull, killed himself, right? Terrible, horrible situation, right? So myself and my partner, we outside, we're waiting for EMS to get here. So a guy walks up out of nowhere. He walks up to me. Well, my partner, let me take that back. Hold on, let me take that back. My partner hadn't got to me. I got to the front of Tower City first to wait for EMS, but he had something else he had to do. And so I'm up there waiting, right? And a Caucasian woman walks inside Tower City with her dog. Now, this Caucasian woman she's a resident there. There's a apartment complex up there. She's a resident there. She walks her dog all the time, and she wasn't wearing a mask, right? So she walks inside the mall, because we don't have to wear a mask in the mall. We don't have to wear a mask at Tower City. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. It's not mandatory at Tower City. So she walks inside the mall with her dog like she always do. Unfortunately, according to this black person, she didn't have a mask. So he walks past me and he says, "Hey man, what's wrong with you?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Why you let that woman walk inside there with no mask on with her dog? Now, if it had been a black person, y'all would have been all on top of her. Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of house niggas." And that's what I'm like. And I'm sitting up here and I'm saying to myself, see, this is what's being stirred up. I never had this kind of experience ever in my life. The only time I started seeing a lot of embittered black people on a personal level is when Trump got in office and the mainstream media put the dump fire on this man. He a racist, he a this, he a that. Black people are victimized by him, which is a complete lie. Was then and still is now. And all this kind of stuff, filling the minds and the emotions of all these black people. And I was the brunt of it. I was oftentimes the butt of all of these kind of accusations of being an Uncle Tom and so forth. So all these black people walking around with a chip on their shoulder. And I've never experienced so much division and so much hate ever in my life. And it could be simply because I'm more aware of it now than I was before. But I'm hearing other sources that are saying it was never this way. And my point in simply sharing this video is to simply give my spin on what she said. I understand the other part of the focus, because I don't the focus on this being a white person, because I don't know who this person is. When I saw the video, when I saw the news clip, I'm like, who is this lady, Gabby Petito, I believe. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right. Who is she exactly? Is she connected to anyone important? Because I was wondering why there was so much focus on her, because I thought that she was connected to someone important. But as race baiters often do and race hustlers often do, they take an incident like that, they utilize it, and then they blow it out of proportion. Now it's white syndrome, white missing person syndrome. And I guarantee you, just about every uninformed black person will be walking around with an attitude and a chip on their shoulder because Joy Reid said that this is a white woman syndrome or whatever she said. I couldn't hardly remember her because it's so disgusting. So you're gonna have people walking around, black people walking around with another chip on their shoulder. They got so many chips on their shoulder, man, you can't count the amount of chips a lot of black people have on their shoulder. Not every black person, not all black people, but a lot of them that I experience and I observe and I deal with my job, I'd say 80% of them have that attitude. And I'm being generous. But I just wanted to get my spin on this because it's really disgusting to keep all this racial tension going on, and they're not doing anything to try to solve problems. They're causing problems. And personally, I honestly believe they're paid to cause these problems because I believe there's a bigger agenda. But that's a whole nother story, and I digress. But if you guys have anything to say about this, please leave your comments in the comment section. What do you think about Joy Reid's comment? Is this really a fascination with missing white people? Is it a white person's or white female syndrome? Is that what people are suffering from right now? If you think so, put it in the comments below. Or if you think that she's just another race baiter or race hustler that's paid a lot of money to spin lies, put it in the comment. If you agree with me or you disagree with me, put it in the comment box below. But you guys know, man, I mean, this, to me, as far as I'm concerned, is just another way of keeping us divided so we can't come together and try to solve the problems in this country. But if you guys like this video, press the like button. Once again, put your comments in the comments section, whether you agree with her comments or disagree with her comments. Share this video and like this video. God bless you, and see you again on RCB News.